believe you dropped it. I took his bitch with ease, now she off the bye-bye.
Is the government the reason why black people aren't more advanced in society, or is it black people the reason why? I say black people, he say the government. I say the black people because, yes, we're always going to be behind the eight ball. We know this. We've seen this for 100 years now, right? Malcolm X talked about it. Martin Luther King talked about it. Shit, we can go all the way back to Sojourner Truth. We've been behind the eight ball. We can't use that as excuse no more when we got, not everybody has the resources. Like, I grew up poor, Trey grew up poor. I know some people who grew up more well off than me, but we can't use it as an excuse why we can't better ourselves. We have to, one, this was my argument. One, we gotta be in a 2-parent household, because everybody I know in a 2-parent household in the black community is doing way better than me in life than my mom was. Two, going to college or going to trade school. College isn't for everyone, bro, but if you're not good with college, you can learn a trade like welding, plumbing, being an electrician, stuff like that. All those 3 jobs get paid great. Not the best, but it's better than working in a factory. Everybody has plumbing in their homes. Everybody needs an electrician. Everybody needs something, bro. It's always places and things to do. We just settle for factory jobs because, not to be racist or bring up old shit, but we were slaves at one point. Trades from the South. My granddad moved up north during the Great Migration. You know, my granddad was born in Cleveland, Mississippi. So he was working on plantations. We're bred to be labor workers. Everybody, I know his great grandparents probably picked cotton, or sugar cane. My great grandparents picked cotton. So we're bred to be labor workers, but we can break that generational curse by going to school, by learning the trade, and passing that down to generations.
Okay, so only to your point, yes, you can go to school to do better. You can learn a trade to be better. You got to think when slavery actually ended. Like when I say slavery, I'm not talking about just like slaves. I'm talking Jim Crow, sharecroppers. I mean, slavery ended, quote unquote, at 1865. You still had segregation, Jim Crow, all the way to 1900s.
1965.
1964. Exactly. So from 1964, we are in 2024. That is approximately how many years?
80.
80 years.
I'm tripping. It's 60. I can't do that. I'm tripping.
Like, you're right. 60 years. Yeah, you could. I mean, I was going to keep going. But, but either way, though, like from 1964, 1965, all the way to 2025, that is only 60 years. My granddad is older than the amount of time we've actually been, quote unquote, free. And then we still have regressed in a lot of areas from then till now. Like we progressed, but we also regressed too. So my entire point to that is to say that we can't use that as an excuse. We're still playing catch up. Like we're still, you know what I'm saying, behind the barrel of a gun, because even today, like somebody that's in my field, like that's in engineering, I still make less than somebody that has an associate. You know what I'm saying? That just because they have the experience, which is cool. I now have the experience. If I go and ask for a raise and that person going to ask for a raise, like they're more willing to give him, statistically, they're more apparent to give him a raise, or even if they give us both the raise, he's going to get a higher one because of relatability, because of race, and because of likability. And those are things that Black people face every single day. There's a reason why college tuition, there are more Black people graduating today than there were before. And that's great. That is awesome, because that means that people are getting their education. But you also have a lot of jobs that aren't hiring at the moment. And then when they are hiring, just like what's going on now, where they're getting rid of or trying to get rid of this discrimination laws and trying to revoke those out of all of our constitutional rights, it's even harder now for people of color or minorities to land a job, because now I have to go through an interview, I have to code switch, and I'm not even guaranteed the position. And it could be now because of my religion, my race, or my sexuality. Those are things that we face every single day. We have been free for 60 years. We are half that. Like, literally the amount of time that we've been free, people of color, Eddie, you're literally half that. You know what I'm saying? 32.
But 32 is crazy.
Turning 30, but like you're literally half of like the timeline that we've been considered equal. And so to say like we can't use that as a crutch anymore, I don't think anybody uses that as a crutch, but I think we're using it in a sense of like how far we've come, we've appreciated, but think of how much further we would have been if it would have happened 100 years before. I think if Juneteenth would have happened sooner, you know what I'm saying, where everybody, even the ones in Texas, would have found out a year earlier, or if slavery would have ended a couple years earlier, or more slaves were free. Like people do well, you know what I'm saying, in single family households. Like it's not like the father has to be or the mother has to be present. There are still people that do well. I'm not going to say that's the biggest problem in America, and that's why we're not succeeding, or one of the biggest problems. I feel like with all these things going on in the world that you could be focusing on, i.e. the housing market, try to crash that, i.e. the stock market. The stock market has influenced a lot of people's pockets. And when you're doing insider trading or doing a conspiracy to insider trade, it makes it harder on our people because now you're rooting for bigger businesses to continue to use minority work and the work that that was on our backs, you're using our hard work to back the CEO, which is a white man, which is passed down, or somebody not of color, you know what I'm saying? That's been passed down from his great grandfather. So it's like, that's why it's really hard for us statistically to progress forward in this corrupt world. I mean, we have the lowest, statistically, we earn the lowest, we have the lowest income of any race, but we also spend the most on like BS. Like as far as consumers go, we are the heaviest consumer when it comes to designer. Everything. Designer, luxury vehicles, expensive restaurants and meals. Like we spend the most on those things, but we earn the least. So to that point, I do agree. As people, we need to change. But it's hard to change whenever we are the targeted audience with all the negativity. We know all it takes is, for the status quo to say this is fire, and we're gravitating towards that. Anything that looks lame or anything that seems lame, we're not focused on. And they don't teach us about credit in school. But I guarantee you, what I'm saying, our counterparts know it. They know it. They know about credit. They know how to, why credit is important. When I got my first credit card was from Wells Fargo. If you know what Wells Fargo is, shout out to you. That bank closed, I think. First credit card so like it was a college card. My first credit card, I had 2 bands on there. I knew credit, blew it. Like I blew that. They told me I could take cash out. My mom's was struggling. I could take out $500. They go $450 right here, mom.
Maybe that's reasonable though, because at Southside they taught us credit.
I mean, but like, did you? Did they go in depth of how like deep credit?
You only can go so deep on a certain course. You only get 9 weeks to talk about it.
Right.
Not even 9 weeks. Probably like 2 or 3 weeks to talk about it. But for the most part, we knew what credit was for real, like how important it was. Because I remember it was my senior year. This girl, I was talking about credit, and she was like, "Do you not know how important your credit is?" I like to be real, bro. I don't plan on using credit for real. I'd rather just cash it out because my dreams was bigger than borrowing or using somebody else's money. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. She was like, you need credit for this, that, and the third. I'm like, yeah, I know this, but why would I depend on him when I'm willing and able to do it for myself?
See, and that's a corrupt way of thinking, because credit, if we think about it, is great. Like if you can establish good credit, great credit, if you can have a 700 plus credit score, you can literally have all the money in the world and still get stuff for dirt cheap. Like I can have a 750 credit score, 800 credit score, I have $1 million in my bank, and I can go and get a car today, and they're gonna be like, your payments a month are gonna be $250.
But why have a payment when you can just cash it?
Because credit is how you lease stuff. Credit is how you go out and buy things. Like you can buy a house straight out, but like why do that when you can just credit it, build your credit, and then go turn the house in and get a bigger house? Because credit is a paper trail. Credit is money. Credit is a digital currency in which you can convert into power. Because when you have a good credit, you can buy so many things because people trust you that as a borrower, you're going to pay that back. So now if I give Eddie $20 and Eddie gives me $20 right back a week later, now I'm like, okay, cool, Eddie. Like he asked me for 40 next week. I'm like, bet you good for 20. I'll give you 40. And then that right there, it may not even be like I ain't got 40, bro, but I got this that I can lend you. Now we're negotiating. Now we're in a conversation where money's talking, because I might have gave you $100K And now you're turning my 100K into an investment. If I know you as a borrower and you're terrible at borrowing money and you don't pay me back, I have no reason to invest in you. You can have all the cash. Why do that when I can triple my investment because I have a good credit?
Credit is more of a corporate thing, in my opinion, because why? Like, say what you said. He asked for 40.
Yeah,
and you gave it to him. If he had 40, he wouldn't ask for 40.
He probably had 40.
But what I'm saying, he probably didn't. Most people who use credit, like in our community, don't got it, so they spend it anyway. If I had $1 million, because credit, you got to pay back more over time. Say this crib right here. This is a crib right here. This is $250.
Yep.
I got $250,000 to spend on a crib, you know? Or I can borrow $250,000, then they add their interest on it. So instead of paying $250 flat out, I might pay $285 over a 30-year period. Why would I do that when I can just cash it and gain equity over time? The time that I'm using the 30 years to pay it off, I got the 30 years equity, or the market value goes up. So I can, when I want to sell it, I got the money instead of paying the money. That's why I don't fuck with credit.
I'm gonna answer that too, and then we can move on to another topic so we can really start this pie. So with credit, you got both of you guys use Klarna Afterpay. Are you using that? Okay, cool. So you go up to JD's. Hey, new J's dropped, Jordan 4s, whatever. 12s. Is that your flu games just dropped? Eddie flu games just dropped. They're like, you can spend how much for the flu game? That's the text. Like
$235.
$235. You can spend $235, or you can give me, let's say, what's that? $60. You give me $60 right now. Cool. So you're every 2 weeks on that Klarna or that Afterpay or whatever you decide to use, Quad Pay, you pay $60. You may have the money, but the reason you paid $60 that day, so you saved money and you invested in it, using that to the housing market. If I have the credit, the good credit, I buy a house today. If I don't give them all of my $250K and I give them 20%, because typically banks pay the other 80, and based off of my good credit score, they'll give me a payment plan. If my house, for whatever reason, the housing market, time's up, guys. But the housing market crashes, I can then go back and refinance my home with my good credit. Because over time I'm paying, so I'm increasing my credit score. If I go and refinance that home, now that home went from $250K with my payments monthly. That should say, I paid $50K on it. So now it's $200K. Housing market crashes. That house that was $250 actually went down to $150. I already paid $50K on it. My good credit, now I can go and refinance the home and get an even lower bill. Yes, my term is going to restart, but that's an investment because I was already saving $250 because I only paid 20%. Now, since I had good credit, the housing market crashed, or my house depreciated in value, quote unquote, because of some type of housing market decrease. I can go and refinance that. And then when appreciation starts coming, that house that was once $250 that would drop down to $150 is now $350. And I'm still on a payment plan. I don't have to refinance that now. Because now my house is now $200,000 more than when I initially brought it. If you pay for that straight cash and something happens to that home, like you were just waiting on appreciation. Land and houses, like they appreciate for sure, but it's a gradual appreciation. And it also fluctuate depending on the Fed, depending on how, the economy is doing. There's so many things to where like liquidating all of your funds into an asset is, if you're doing that, it's completely fine. But it's a lot of benefits to just having good credit and having that steady payment plan so you can refinance and explore other options.
I get what you're saying, but
I mean, we can agree to disagree. I definitely feel you though. Like
I rather like if I got it, I'm gonna buy it. I don't care. I don't care about the credit, that and the third. I just feel like it's another way for them to just get more money out.
Yeah, I feel that. I mean,
some I know a lot of motherfuckers who like buy their crib and never refinance.
Yeah, I mean, that's a possibility too. I mean, you might not want to. Your house could still go up in value and you still got that, that down payment locked in. So even if your house is now $500K and you brought it for $150K, you still paying for a $150K house. Mm-hmm. So, okay. I mean, I get it. I get that some people want to just buy it straight out. I'm just saying if the help is there, not even help, but if that additional help is there,